Welcome to the tutorial for Sand Ocean. In this tutorial, I will demonstrate and analyze 4 strategies for this track that will help you improve your best time. The strategies that I will demonstrate are meant to be of use to players of all skill levels. I will start with the first basic strategy that will allow any player to beat the step ghost. The more difficult strategies will allow even the best players to improve their times. Each strategy is given a difficulty rating to let you know what you're getting yourself into. Each strategy is also given a goal time to work towards before moving on to the next one. This tutorial assumes an understanding of the game's driving mechanics and moves as covered in the driving mechanics and moves tutorial on my channel, so be sure to check that one out first. Okay, let's get started and have fun!
It's a new record!
Sand Ocean is one of the tougher tracks to beat the staff ghost on from a casual perspective. Start out by gently steering right towards the rail and enter the pipe section on the right side. Use one side attack to align yourself with the green line on the right side of the pipe and keep driving in a straight line until the narrow section. When you enter the narrow section, move towards the middle of the pipe and stay on the yellow line for a slight turn to the left. Exit the pipe in the middle of the road. Take the following 2 corners while steering normally, but gentle enough so you do not lose your grip. Try to steer right along the apex of the corner to take the inside of it. Take the dash plate as well and steer gently left and try to stay close to the rail without losing your grip. This can be quite tricky to optimize, so be careful here. In the following pipe section there is a corner to the right that is quite sharp. Try to stay on the right side in the first lap, but take the inside of it and align yourself with the dash plate coming up next. After the dash plate, set yourself up in a straight line towards the finish line and keep driving in a straight line until lap 2. As soon as lap 2 starts, start boosting immediately for 6 manual boosts in a row all the way throughout the first pipe section of the track and up till the first sharp right corner after the pipe section. Stay in the middle of the pipe and steer gently to keep your grip. After the pipe section, prepare yourself for a sharp right corner coming up. Time your right side attacks well, and at the start of the first side attack, steer through the corner sharply and line yourself up with the dash blade. Take the dash blade and use the left side attack, so keep your grip and enter the pipe section coming up. Do not boost anymore in that pipe section and try to stay on the right side to take the inside of the corner and line yourself up with the dash blade. After the dash blade boost ends, start boosting manually and keep boosting until all your energy runs out throughout the first pipe section of lap 3. You can enter the pipe section on the left side and steer gently through the middle to keep your grip at minimal speed loss. The pipe section is identical to lap 2. Stay in the middle, keep your grip and keep on boosting. When you exit the pipe, just like the previous lap, prepare yourself for a sharp right turn. Use some right side attacks to take it and align yourself up with the dash blade. When you take the dash blade, you can actually make the following left corner without any additional side attacks to keep the most amount of speed, but do not be afraid to use a left side attack if you feel that you are losing your grip. In the following pipe section, try to stay on the right side again and align yourself up with the dash blade. After the dash blade, keep a straight line towards the finish line, and in the refiller, as soon as your energy replenishes, start boosting immediately to finish the race. And that's it for this strategy. It's pretty tough to beat this Steph Ghost, but with some practice and good driving lines, you can surely do it. Good luck!
Go! It's a new record!
The way the second strategy differs from the first strategy is mainly the way you can exit the pipes. If you exit on the lower half of the pipe, the ship will already be at the double tap dive angle, so in principle you can just hold up on the control stick and side attack to dive down. Because you're not going that fast in the first lap, at the exit of the first pipe, you don't get much air. However, there's a cool trick to getting more air, so let's break it down. Drive in such a line that you approach the right exit of the pipe with the ship pointed a little bit upwards when you would exit it. Then do a well-timed right side attack to exit the lower half of the pipe as high as possible without crossing over to the top section. Hold down when you exit the pipe and gradually move the control stick via the down left position to the up left position to tilt the ship sideways and point the nose of the ship down. When the nose of the ship is pointed down sufficiently, start mashing R to do a double tap dive R back down to the track. The following corner is tricky, so use well-timed right side attacks to make your way through it and keep your grip. Catch the dash blade and use a left side attack to make your way into the pipe. Like the first strategy, stay on the right side of the pipe to take the inside of the corner. Align yourself with the dash blade, but this time when you exit the pipe, align yourself on the left wall of it, between the blue and green lines parallel to those, so your ship is already at the perfect diving angle when you exit the pipe. Double tap dive Z back down to the track into the refiller for a nice speed boost into lap 2. Make sure to hold straight up when you land in the refiller to prevent the ship from lifting off and losing your speed. Like the first strategy, just keep on boosting for 6 boosts straight all the way through the first tunnel. At the end of the pipe section, we can do a double tap dive back down to the track again. Approach the lower right side of the pipe the same way you did in the first lap. Only this time just drive over the lower right side, hold up on the control stick or slightly up left to point the nose of the ship down, and then double tap dive R back down to the track. If the nose of the ship was pointing slightly upwards when you exited the pipe, you will get some nice air and get a good dive back down to the track. Tackle the following corners with some well-timed side attacks and make sure to catch the dash blade. Do not boost anymore through the second pipe section, but stay on the right side and catch the dash blade as usual. Align yourself up again with the left wall to do a double tap dive back down to the refiller below. Make sure to hold up on the control stick when you land back down in the refiller to prevent the ship from lifting off. Immediately start boosting and keep on boosting through the first pipe section in lap 3. Keep on boosting all the way through the first pipe until your energy runs out when you exit it. Be careful in the following section because you have no energy left. Finish the race the same way you finished the second lap. And that's it for this strategy. The difficulty certainly lies in setting up the double tap dives when you exit the pipe sections. Especially the first one in the first lap is really difficult to optimize well. You can do a simple version as well if you do it the same way as I described in lap 2 and 3. It may take some practice, but once you get these dives under control, you will be cutting many seconds of your best times. Good luck!
It's a new record!
In strategy 3 we use the drifting strategy. It starts off immediately on the right rail with a hard rail drift on the right side. Exit the drift as soon as you enter the first pipe section. Do a well-timed right side attack and steer hard right to leave the track at the moment the pipe closes. As soon as you leave the track, hold straight down on the control stick. Move the control stick from the down to the down left to the up left position gradually. Do a well-timed left side attack to tilt the ship sideways and point the nose of the ship down for a double tap dive. Try to land in the middle of the pipe section without hitting the sides for the maximum air time. Move through the pipe in exactly the same way as you did in the previous strategy. Line yourself up for the first double tap dive in the same way as the previous strategy described it. This time you're going even faster, so you can get more height and a bigger dive. After the dash blade, steer into the left wall to force the ship in a good drifting angle. Try to extend the drift for as long as possible and as wide as possible, all the way until you enter the second pipe. Do the dive out of the second pipe in exactly the same way as was described in the previous strategy. Lap 2 and lap 3 are pretty much identical to lap 2 and lap 3 of the previous strategy. The main difference is that you're driving the Hellhawk, so you have a lot less grip and you have to be careful with that. Additionally, in between the pipe sections you want to do a drift from the dash blade into the second pipe. This time use a right side attack to force the ship into drifting mode. Extend the drift for as long as possible and make it as wide as possible to catch the maximum amount of speed. Especially in the third lap, be very careful when you do the drift, because you do not have any energy left, so the sides can be very dangerous. That's it for this strategy. The main difficulty certainly lies in the opener dive. Luckily it's right at the start of the race, so you can practice it often. Good luck!
Post power! Final lap! Way to go! It's a new record!
The fourth strategy focuses on the air ground glitch in lap 1, so come prepared. Start off by drifting hard into the right rail, but this time extend your drift into the first pipe section. Use a well-timed right side attack and steer hard right to leave the track. This time, because you are still in a drifting angle, your ship will be pointed backwards. Hold down when you leave the track and you will do a small diagonal dive back down to the rail. Timing is everything to make this work well. When you land in the rail, hold down left and use a left side attack to move the ship out of the rail and activate the air ground glitch. Do some additional side attacks to make the ship at a tilted angle when you float upwards. After an initial bit of floating, you want to change directions. Hold down right and do a right side attack to change the direction of the ship. You need to be close enough to the pipe section to make all the checkpoints count, so the initial bit of floating is required. I like to use the mountain in the distant scenery as a point of orientation. Keep a close eye on the minimap as well. Watch the blue dot as it progresses through the first tunnel. When the blue dot is at the exit of the tunnel and you're high enough, use a right side attack and move the control stick to the upright position to point the nose of the ship into a down right position for a double tap dive Z back down to the track. Because you're so high up, you can easily get 3000 km/h from this dive. The section after landing is very tricky. Because you're going so fast, there's no possible way you can possibly make the next couple of corners. Steer into the first right corner hard and you will certainly lose grip. You have to steer into it just enough so that when you do a right side attack, you will go right along the apex of the corner and line up with the dash plate without hitting the sides. Do some left side attacks to make it into the second pipe section without losing grip. Exit the second pipe with a double tap dive as described in the previous strategies. Keep in mind that you're going much faster than the previous strategies, so be careful that you do not lose your grip and line yourself up well with the left wall of the tunnel. Lap 2 and 3 are both identical to strategy 2. In lap 2 you can enter at a higher speed than strategy 2, so your lap 2 time will still be really good. In lap 3, because you're now at full acceleration settings, you will most likely lose some time to the potential time from strategy 2. Nevertheless, the air ground glitch in lap 1 more than makes up for that. The difficulty in this strategy lies both in the activation of the air ground glitch at the start of lap 1 and the landing of the big double tap dive. If you find yourself having a lot of trouble with the landing and making the following corners at high speed, you may want to consider another low weight ship with a better body rating. Good suggestions would be either the Wonder Wasp or even the Deep Claw, because you only drift very briefly at the start of lap 1. If a ship has a bad drifting ability, it doesn't matter so much for this strategy in particular. If you feel particularly daring, you can also activate the air ground glitch at the start of lap 2. For this you have to do a fast double tap dive out of the second pipe. Use the liftoff from the refiller to your advantage to land in the rail at the start of the second lap and do the air ground glitch strategy just like lap 1. In my experience this is slightly slower than the strategy as shown in the video, but I was still able to get a better time with this than with strategy 3. So your experience may vary. A potential strategy that is interesting but is very difficult is to land in the rail after the big double tap dive from the air ground glitch in lap 1 to activate a second air ground glitch. From this point, you could use the double tap ascent technique to ascend into the air and land in the second pipe. Needless to say, that is excessively difficult, but it is certainly possible. That's it for the strategies on Sand Ocean 1. Good luck and have fun!